deliberate vision, deliberate. Okay. So now we have got to think in different ways, because it is not just enough if we just do research or teach. We'll have to have a deliberate vision and networking, because this is the era where information explosion is there, technology has crept in. So we'll have to have a vision to prepare our students for the advanced future. So we'll have to have a vision, and we'll have to have the network to achieve that vision. So a good leader, a good academic leader has to have deliberate vision and networking. And first thing is, we'll have to be cooperative, because everything cannot be achieved alone, and we have to be motivators. For that, we'll have to be we will have to have that spirit in us, then only we can motivate others. And of course, there are people who think in different ways, so we'll have to be open-minded to accept what others say, and this can lead us to efficient management. And we'll have to recognize and appreciate the development and performance of each member. And for that, we'll have to have interpersonal skills. That is, we'll have to understand the emotions of others, and we'll have to be responsive also. So we'll have to think in that direction. So this, the motto of the leadership is, we'll have to take everybody along with us. So we will have to rise by lifting others. So what we should do to lift everybody, let us think of it in future. Sorry, in the next section. So now, what does NEP say about academic leadership? That is, in NEP, there is a thinking for recognizing the leaders who are enthusiastic, outstanding, and they can be enthusiastic, outstanding only when they cultivate innovative views and excellence in all aspects. See, this is the time where global competition is there. So now the whole world has become a global village. So we will have to prepare our students to be at global level. That can be done only when we have innovative views. For example, like the chalk and talk has gone, then came where we started doing PPT, etc. Now that is not enough. So we'll have to think of smart boards. We'll have to think of conference calls. So we'll have to think of innovative means of reaching and coming up to the level of global expectation. So we'll have to think innovatively to teach, to test, and also to adopt new ways. So in NEP, now people are talking about the faculty with excellent academic and service credentials, and they can be established to, they can be made good leaders with training in management skills, which would be identified early and trained through a ladder of leadership positions. So it is not like the previous one where the promotions would be given after completing a particular period of time. I think if we just look back, friends, even the batch before our batch were getting the promotion after serving for a particular length of time, and they were called merit promotions, but there was no merit. It was only the period of service which was counted. But that doesn't help in academics. So then people thought of including some, considering the merit of the person, the achievement of the person for promotion. Then came career advancement scheme, where we will have to show the performance in terms of teaching, research, extension. So looking that way also, already the UGC had thought of that, but now even to appoint, people are trying to identify the leadership qualities and then appointing him or her as the head of the institution. So the position of leadership shall not remain vacant, but the authorities in those who have written the policy say that there will be transition period in leadership, which will be according to some norms, and it is for the smooth running institutions. The leaders of institution need to develop a culture of excellence which will incentivize the outstanding and motivating teaching, innovations, research, institutional service, and outreach of community from faculty members and the higher education leaders. So it is, again, they are saying that it is not single dimensional, it is multidimensional, and therefore we will have to have a culture of excellence. We say culture of excellence because that should become the way of life in higher education institutions. It is not just coming to the class, just saying whatever is there in the book and going. We will have to think innovatively and make our students also think innovatively. I just want to quote an incident here. Like in one day, one student will not be taking down the notes in the class. The teacher gets wild and the teacher asks, "Why are you not taking down anything in the class?" The student answers, "Madam, my father was your student." So if your father was my student, why are you not taking down the notes? Then the student says that my father has preserved the notes and there is nothing extra other than what is there in the notes. So this was the practice hitherto, like we were saying, only whatever was there in the book. But that is not required. Now we the teachers complain of shortage of attendance for our students. And I feel sometimes we the teachers are also responsible for this kind of a situation, because we are just saying whatever is there in the book and we have not improved. Whatever I taught to the batch which came 8 years ago, I am teaching the same thing to the present batch. Then the students feel, what is the use of attending this class? So even we the teachers will have to improve upon, will have to think innovatively. We will have to think with open eyes what's going on in the world. Can I relate what's going on in the world with what I'm teaching today? And I'll have to conduct research to find out the most effective method, the most required things for the present generation. Then I think we'll have that culture of excellence in our higher education institutions. So, as per the vision of NEP 2020, the faculty shall have the capacity for transacting the students and act as mentors and guides. Hence, NEP 2020 provides the responsibility and accountability for decentralizing the higher education institutions concurrently. So, for this, Higher Education Commission of India will be established, and that will be responsible for everything for teaching, administration, even to resolve the disputes among the 4 verticals. We have the different verticals, no? So Higher Education Commission of India will be the sole body which goes into all this. and I think it may replace our University Grant Commission, which is there at the moment. And I think it will have still more power, because here now we had it was more decentralized, the university had more powers, but now the university may not have the affiliating power in future, because everything will be taken over by Higher Education Council of India, and that each vertical in Higher Education Council of India, that's what I'm referring to here as HECI, will be an independent body consisting of persons having high expertise in relevant areas, along with integrity, commitment, and public service records on track. The Higher Education Commission of India will be small and independent body consisting with eminent public experts in higher education to look after and monitor all functions. Within Higher Education Council of India, some suitable mechanics will be designed and evolved to carry out the functions of Higher Education Commission of India. So, and how will the administrators and leaders be selected? That is one important thing all of us are looking forward to. And the institution heads and all leaders. I think I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
And the PPT is visible.
Yes, yes.
visible, madam.
Okay, no problem now.
No problem. No
Okay.
problem.
The institution heads and all the leadership positions will be provided to highly qualified academicians, and also have demonstrated capability of administrative and leadership ability in complex situations. That is what is said, and hope so it will be implemented. But anyway, NEP, the policy makers behind NEP 2020 are highly ambitious, and hope all these things will be implemented in true spirit. And the higher education institution leaders need to demonstrate constitutional values and institutional vision, along with social commitment, belief in teamwork, ability to work with diverse people, and positive attitude. So leaders of a higher education institute will demonstrate strong alignment to constitutional values and the overall vision of the institution, along with the attributes such as strong social commitment, belief in teamwork, pluralism, ability to work with diverse people, positive outlook. This becomes very, very important in the present context, because we have the problems of secularism, pseudo-secularism, the caste politics, JNU politics, etc. So at this juncture, I think the leadership has to be strong to resolve all this, because we have pluralism in the beliefs. Then we have diverse people. So sometimes it becomes very difficult to take decisions, to make judgments about what's going on in the campus. So I think the leadership, a strong and good leadership is required in higher education institutions, because of course there are both for and against arguments regarding the involvement of the academicians in such kind of matters. Okay, so but whatever it is, the leadership has to fight it. And when we look at the incidents happening in institutions like JNU or anywhere else, I think the leadership has to be strong and see that there will not be any involvement of the political parties or involvement of any religious leaders in the campus. I think if that is taken care of, then our institutions will be safe, and that can be done provided the leaders have the positive outlook and a right attitude. So for that, I think we need training. It is also said the leaders are not always born, the leaders are made. So in that direction, I think all of us will have to think of for a safer India tomorrow. For this, anyway, board of governance, which would be constituted or which should be established by the government, will constitute eminent expert committee for the selection of administrators and leaders through an impartial, rigorous, merit-based and competency-based selection. Hope so. So the stability of tenure is to guarantee the growth of a suitable culture. At the same time, succession of leadership will be planned to safeguard the practices which defines an institution's process should not affect due to a change in the leadership. This, I think, I'll have to mention. See, for example, in our own state, we had a committee to prepare the syllabus as per NEP 2020. And I think in all disciplines, in all programs, in for B.Ed, for BA education, for BSc, etc. And now the present government has changed the policy. So they said, no, we will have to have SEP, that is State Education Policy. And at the during this... Hello? Okay. So at that time, what the government did was, I think in almost all the committees, the members are changed. So when the members are changed, the content of the curriculum should not change adversely. That is the concern. So I am giving you an example of our own state when we have shifted from NEP to SAP. So the responsibility of the leader should be to safeguard the interest of the students rather than following the guidelines issued by some agencies. So I think therefore during the transition from NEP, from the old one 1986 NEP to NEP 2020, or from NEP 2020 to State Education Policy, that is SEP. So outstanding persons, it is said that the outstanding persons will be identified and trained early and allowing them to work along with the leaders in different positions. So now let us try to explore the critical role that academic leaders can play in realizing the aspirations of NEP 2020, emphasizing the delicate equilibrium required between the pursuit of quality and the imperative of quantity. This is very, very important because when we say we have to reach masses, sometimes some people say, if you want to reach the masses, then we'll have to think of other means, and that would result in the loss of or deterioration of quality. That should not happen. We'll have to reach the masses, that is, we'll have to think of the quantity. At the same time, we'll have to think of the quality also. So how can it be done? For example, now even in some HRDCs, I had the larger groups are taken for any short-term courses. But if you take larger groups, then how are you maintaining the quality would be the question. So we'll have to get prepared for that. So now we are at a point where we will have to move with the new mindset. That is, from 1986 policy to NEP 2020 with the new mindset so that we'll have the new result. Hope all of you agree with this. So let us see how we can achieve this. Now, it is said it can be achieved in by designing and implementing effective teacher training programs. Do you mean to say that the teachers of, I think we have, this is a mixed group. We have teachers from all the disciplines, is it not? Yes or
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
please? So we
Yes,
have
madam.
the
Yes, madam.
Huh? We have teachers from all the disciplines.
Yes, ma'am.
Then do you think that teachers other than from teacher training programs, do you need training or not for implementing NEP 2020?
We need, madam.
We need, ma'am.
May I know the subjects which, the programs for which you are teaching?
Physical education.
Okay, then?
Computer science.
Okay.
Education, madam. Education.
Education people, no problem, because you are all from education. But what I feel, no, that is to implement NEP 2020, the teachers, all the teachers across the disciplines require some teacher training programs, maybe of short duration, because this is the transition period. So in order to achieve our objectives, that is the objectives in your respective disciplines, I feel we need some teacher training programs. Even the teachers from other disciplines will have to get to know the different advanced methods of teaching and what is the content required, if the research has to be conducted, how the research has to be conducted. For all these, some teacher training programs are required. So it is said, by investing in faculty development, leaders can ensure that educators are equipped with the skills and knowledge necessary to implement innovative pedagogical methods and adapt to the evolving needs of the students, because the needs of the students are continuously changing depending on the circumstances. Like, for example, take my own case now. Like when a system fails, like when my laptop mic was not working, I'll have to have, I should have the knowledge, I should have the ability to use some other source so that the time is not wasted. And I think even I'm not very efficient in this. So we'll have to prepare the students in such a way that they will come up to the occasion, they will somehow be able to manage the system. So for that, we require the technical knowledge, we require the subject knowledge, everything. So the leaders will have to think in multiple ways. So shifting from traditional assessment methods to competency-based evaluation is a major undertaking outlined in NEP 2020. So it is like sometimes our students, especially in some disciplines, can get the marks even without knowing the crux of the problem, because they write pages together. So the evaluator cannot look at the answer and may give the marks also. So in order to check whether the student knows or has learned whatever was taught, we'll have to have the competency-based evaluation. Then academic leaders must investigate the complexity of this transition, considering the factors such as aligning the assignments with learning outcomes. So now we have started talking about the program which is focused on learning outcomes, developing reliable evaluation tools, and training educators. So It should be a phased and collaborative approach coupled with effective communication. Then we can mitigate the challenges in this area. So, leaders must adopt inclusive policies. This is very important because we do have some special students who have to be included. I mean, who can be educated in the normal classroom with small adjustments. So for that, we will have to think of the inclusive classroom. And by implementing targeted interventions such as scholarship programs, community engagement initiatives, language inclusivity, leaders can work towards creating more educational landscape. And we have to leverage technology. This is very, very important. So we'll have to make the best use of technology to achieve our objectives. So we may encounter challenges related to infrastructure, digital literacy, and equitable access to technology. So the leader must and should know this. Of course, everybody should know, but to make everybody know, leader himself or herself first will have to equip ourselves with the technical knowledge, and we should also take proactive measures to bridge the digital divide. So we have the division between the locations like the urban and the rural, the poor and the rich. So in order to bridge it, we'll have to invest in robust IT infrastructure. So the leader should know how to do it and provide training to educators and students. Harnessing technology for innovative teaching methods can enhance overall experience. And we'll have to be aware of the policy. Lack of awareness and understanding of NEP 2020 can impede its successful implementation, because, of course, when NEP wants to be implemented, last year we have seen there were so many discussions because of so many controversies. So first we'll have to understand the policy. Of course, there will be loopholes in all the policies, and we can take measures to correct those. But first we'll have to understand what the policy says. So, and we should communicate it to others also. And therefore, the academic leaders must engage in comprehensive communication strategies to disseminate information about the policies, objectives, benefits, and implementation plans. So it should be done with all the stakeholders, like the students, management members, teachers, their parents, and the community, etc. And we'll have to monitor the evaluation process. Establishing a robot system for monitoring and evaluating the process is crucial. Therefore, academic leaders should implement mechanisms to track the effectiveness of implemented strategies, identify the areas for improvement, and make data-driven decisions. So, regular evaluations, feedback loops, and adjustment to the implementation are essential. So at this time, I think we can remember now, if you look at the present evaluation system, we have in higher education also semester wise system, where we do conduct the exams for each semester. And the complaint is that most of the time of the teachers is spent on evaluation rather than teaching. But we have to understand the spirit behind it. Like, we are testing the students however they are studying through continuous and comprehensive evaluation. So when I conduct a test after 1 or 2 units, I will know where the students are going wrong. Therefore, I can give the feedback. They will get corrected and move. If we have the annual system, we'll get to know only at the end of the year, which would not, then I'll not have any time to correct the mistakes of the students. So, regular evaluation what we are having now, that is continuous comprehensive evaluation, that we will have 2 tests, C1 and C2, before going for the final test. We will also have the semester assignment seminars. So we will get to know where the students are. So people are not sometimes understanding the uses of it, because the feedback is not given sometimes. So we'll have to have the regular feedback also, and all this should be monitored by the leaders in the higher education institutions. So leadership is not an expertise. I was telling you, not always leaders are born. So we can even make leaders. So leadership is a constant education. So what kind of education is required in this context? Let us see. So the challenges associated with implementing NEP 2020 are multifaceted, requiring dynamic and proactive leadership. That is, there is infrastructure limitation. Of course, some people are resistant to the change. They don't want change. They want the same system to be continued. Prioritizing teacher training. So teacher training is very important, irrespective of the level at which you are teaching, and promoting inclusive practices. Then we should use technology effectively, communicate policies clearly, and establish robust monitoring and evaluation system. So the leaders have to think in these directions. Through strategic and empathetic leadership, academic leaders can transform the challenges into opportunities. So this we have to keep in mind. The challenges or the problems should be converted to opportunities, so that we can realize our objectives. So here also we can transform the challenges of implementation of NEP 2020 into opportunities, so that we can realize the transformative vision of NEP 2020 and shaping the future of education in India. The robust role of academic leader in implementing NEP 2020 in a country as a culturally diverse as India is instrumental in ensuring that policies objectives resonate with the varied social fabric, language, customs, and religions that characterize the nation. So that's what I was saying. We have these communal disputes entering the campuses. Then how will we prepare our students to fight against all these things? Is we will have to have a kind of moral educations, or we'll have cultural practices. We'll have I think at this time I try to quote the examples of Kerala. I don't know if anybody is from Kerala. See, there, what I have observed in Kerala is Onam is celebrated by everybody there. And there it is hard to see the divide among the religions. All Christians, Muslims, and they have some common religious practices, some common cultural events where every one of them take part together. So communal harmony is promoted. I think the leaders can also create such opportunities in the campus, where all the students from all the religions will take part in some common cultural practices, like it may be a dance or a drama, something like that, so that those divides are forgotten, or those divides will not come to the surface. So I think the state of Kerala would be an example for such a kind of thing. And India's cultural diversity is one of its defining features. So we are special in that. We do have different languages. We do have many cultural diversities, but we are one because each one of us is curious to know about the culture of other state and try to take part in that also. So by fostering cultural sensitivity and inclusivity within the educational institutions, leaders can create an environment that respects and celebrates the rich tapestry of Indian culture, that is the intricate cultural network of India, should be respected and it should be continued. This involves incorporating the diverse perspectives into curriculum, organizing cultural events, etc. So we should have multilingual approach to education, recognizing the importance of preserving and promoting the regional languages. So we should ensure that education is not only accessible, but also culturally relevant to students from different linguistic backgrounds. So, and one more thing, the higher education institutions should not get alienated. Instead, the academic leaders must actively engage with local communities to understand and incorporate their unique needs and perspectives into educational framework. Collaborating with community leaders, parents, and local organizations helps in tailoring educational strategies that are culturally sensitive and aligned with community aspirations. So the grassroots involvement ensures the implementation of NEP 2020 successfully. So, of course, we need, because of the diverse educational landscape, we need customized pedagogical approaches that cater to the different learning styles and cultural nuances. That means, of course, maybe sometimes the pedagogical approach which I have in Kerala may not be that suitable in Northeast. So sometimes we have to make certain changes. We'll have to adopt the different ones, and academic leaders should encourage educators to adopt the teaching methods that resonate with the diverse student population. This may involve incorporating traditional teaching practices, leveraging storytelling techniques, and integrating cultural examples into classrooms. The customization of pedagogical approaches ensures that education is not a one size fit all models, but is adaptable to the unique needs of students. It cannot be tailor-made students. So in each class, the teacher has to become a tailor so that we can have tailor-made methods so that it can fit or it will help my students. So in a multi-religious nation like India, academic leaders play a crucial role in fostering an environment of religious and social harmony within educational institutions. NEP 2020 emphasizes the development of a value-based education system that promotes tolerance, empathy, and mutual respect. So we have a campus culture transcends religious and social divides, fostering an atmosphere of unity and understanding among the students from diverse backgrounds. So, of course, already we have said how it can be achieved. So, academic leaders should empower educators to contextualize lessons, incorporating local examples, case studies, and real-world applications that resonate with the culture and social landscapes of their regions. So this ensures that education is not detached from daily lives, but it is based on the experiences of the students. So we should have open and continuous dialogues with diverse stakeholders. This is very, very important. I think I'll move fast through the slides so that we can have at least some 3-4 minutes for the discussion. So how can we mitigate these challenges? So we'll have to lead, teach, encourage, and empower So these functions of leading, teaching, encouraging, and empowering should be done by the leaders. So let us see how it can be done. So leaders at various educational levels, starting from the schools to vice plus, must embrace their role as catalysts for change. They must navigate through the intricacies of policy implementation, inspire stakeholders, and create an environment that fosters innovation, collaboration, and adaptability. We cannot be rigid, friends. Rules are, of course, made, but sometimes the rules may have to be, we have to be flexible in implementing the rules, because our goal should be that we should be able to reach the masses. We should be able to implement NEP 2020 in true spirit. So for this, only the academic leaders can craft a visionary blueprint that aligns with the ethos of NEP 2020. This involves translating the objectives of the policy into tangible, actionable strategies at the institutional level. So the policy framers may have very high objectives, but it is in the hands of the local leaders to achieve it. And to do that, we will have to have appropriate strategies, and the visionary leaders can facilitate the establishment of a learning ecosystem that promotes research, critical thinking, and holistic development of students. The blueprint should reflect a balance between the academic rigor and the cultivation of essential life skills, because it should not be like now, of course, the recent results show higher the rate of higher is the level of education, greater is the risk of divorce, because most of them who are seeking divorce are very well educated. What does it show? That we have only transacted the content from the textbook to the students, but we have not helped them to grow. We have not helped them to become adjustable. Like some intellectuals find it difficult to be in their own homes for 1 or 2 days because they lack adjustment. So that should not happen. We should try to improve the situation by making them adjust with the family members, with the peer group, with the neighborhood. So with everybody in a city, everybody in a nation. So that should happen. The education should not alienate the students. It should bring the students closer to the country. And we should have, of course, we should encourage inclusive education, and we have to create opportunities for it. And for that, it requires a proactive approach to address the disparities in accessing the quality education and in implementing the pedagogical practices. So NEP 2020 recognizes the central role of teachers in education, because each one of us is a leader for our own classroom. Therefore, we have to have all these, and we have to nurture a cadre of skilled. If all the teachers are trained, then we will be ready with a cadre of skilled and motivated teachers, academic leaders who can contribute directly to the achievement of the objectives of the policy. I think we have got just 2 minutes left. Anybody wants to add a point or comment on what I said? You can do it, please.
Madam, hello.
Please tell me.
Madam, is it possible to bring about the communal harmony by giving cultural touch to the education system?
I think it has been already achieved in Kerala. Of course, as a student, I was with students of Kerala. And when I was teaching, I had 70% Kerala students before. And I'm a regular visitor to many universities in Kerala. What I find there is this communal harmony is more in Kerala, maybe because they have common cultural events. There are dances, everybody dance. It's not just a Muslim or Hindu or a Christian. They have some Tiruvadira, etc., where everybody will take part. I think that is hardly seen in our states and many states. So I'm not saying that we can achieve it 100%, but I think we can achieve to the extent of 60%. This is my experience by being with Keralites. Yes, other friends? Of course, you can contradict, you can add to what I said. Still, I have some information, but I thought I'll have to interact with you people. Because all of you are going to be leaders. We are all leaders for our classrooms. Of course, some of us will be institutional leaders. Yes, others?
Dear participants, if you have any queries, please go ahead.
Ranjan Samir, time aita?
ಆಯ್ತು ಮೇಡಮ್, ಟೈಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಮೇಡಮ್, ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಮೇಡಮ್.
Yes, others?
If
I
you have
don't
any
know.
queries, please go ahead. Okay? ಈ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಮುಗಿತಾ ಮೇಡಮ್ ತಮ್ಮದು?
ಮುಗೀತು.
ಓಕೆ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
So I thought at last